Welcome to the bold analysis. I analyzed about 5 mistakes that if William Ruto make, things can go wrong. And less than 24 hours, one of those mistakes has already been committed. Today, Nairobi Police Commander has said that the mass action that Raila Odinga called in Nairobi on Monday is illegal. According to him, Azimio la Umoja sent in, because according to the law, they're supposed to notify the police 3 days before that protest. So they notified the police. This is according to the police that Azimio la Umoja notified them on 18th. Then there was another that was notified on 19th. That one by the imaginary Nairobi Business Community Group. There have always been a perception to create a perception, an effort to create a perception that the existing Nairobi business community are not Kenyans. They're superhumans. I've always been wondering. Now, Philip Etale, the head of communications at ODM party, is saying that police was notified on 17th. That's when the Azimio la Umoja letter was sent to the police. And after they were notified, so if you count, it is within the 3 days. That's what they're saying. However, the police commander is saying because they have received requests, or rather because they have received requests for mass action from two factions, the Azimio la Umoja one has not met the threshold of the law, and so both of them have been called off, or rather the permission has been denied. What I normally know, I think this has been the argument, is that I don't think police are supposed to ban protests. They're supposed just to be notified to offer security, but not to say that so and so cannot take it. Fine. It was perhaps a strategy to try to suppress the mass action, and just to make sure that, and according to me, it's just a strategy to make sure that the numbers that maybe would turn up would be low. That those who could have purposed to attend, but because now the police is saying it's illegal, they may fear, because that would mean that they can have a clash with the security officers. So I want to be very honest here. When, if the issue is about organized or being said on time, do you want to tell me that if Raila today is to cancel the demo and said, okay, fine, you said it's on Monday, and Monday you have others, so you are canceling it and you are applying on Wednesday within the 3 days notice, will you ban it again? It's a very important question. You know, I'm like, even if you want to ban, even if you want to stop it, you want to call it off on some legal grounds, there reaches a time that maybe reality can catch up with you. I know that maybe it shall have detonated the euphoria around the mass action, but would Raila be still tactical enough to say, okay, fine, you think you say it's illegal and we don't want to put the life of supporters at risk, so let's just leave it and do it at a later date, probably even on a Thursday. Will there be another ground to cancel it? Or will you again stage manage another protest by another group so that you cancel it? And then I look at it as a strategy to look at what exactly is. It's not well thought out, because maybe the Azimio wing has not responded to it. We are waiting for their response. Probably they will respond in the course of the day. But today I saw an article from, I think there is a story from the Standard on Sunday, that Raila had not given clear indications of the venue or where to start and how the procession will go. So he's saying that Raila has declined that, he's not given that. But of course, He has tried to keep the cards close to his chest. Because again, if you would deliver that message probably, and I believe in social media he might deliver it probably before tomorrow, maybe the strategists on the other end will try to get ways of making sure that that is not done. So how will this work against it, and do this work for it? I know those who came up with that statement, or rather security officers, are envisioning a situation where they want to tell the public to go on, they want to tell the public not to, rather, not to go. But who is going to open business in town? I can tell you there is something that the state do not want to see tomorrow. Because the intention has never been to overthrow Ruto. Of course, that is just for messaging and creating the hype. But they will not want to see a situation where shops are closed tomorrow and the media reports that indeed the shops are closed and people are not in town. You know, they don't want to see that situation where even matatus and buses that are supposed to ferry people to town are parked and they are not moving simply because of the uncertainty. They will not want the media to cover that, because that would actually show that there is a bit of that standstill. There is a deliberate attempt to create an environment of things unusual, because that is what will be used to show that mass action has not succeeded. In fact, for those who said that Raila Odinga cannot be moved and there is nothing that can happen and don't think about Raila, about that mass action, so how will you judge its failure or success if you've banned it, you blocked it? Who is the coward here? Let's face it. Who is the coward? Do Raila now come out as the coward, or do the president come out as the coward? Because at the end of the day, attempt and see, what is it? If you were to ban it and if you were to block it, to block the access to CBD, and you want to show that, okay, me and the person in charge, and that's the impression you want to cause that it's failed, how will you give us that assessment if you yourself banned it? There is one thing that everyone else knows. You can doubt everything, but you cannot doubt the fact that, you cannot take away the fact that Raila can storm CBD with the population. You cannot take away that fact that he can go to CBD with people. And you can use everything, but in terms of going, and anaweza just a town. So the image that I think also the security officers are trying to avoid is a situation where we're bragging about no one can come out, we are going to suppress it, but people go to town in their numbers. I don't know. Are you going to kill them? I don't know. Are you going to kill them? What do you expect? The orthodox strategy that, according to me, they just and I said in my grave mistakes that everything can go wrong if people just become reckless. Even in Kisumu, there was an attempt by some pro-agenda group, mobilize some few youths, I don't know, to do some run campaigns that is due respect to the constitution. And they were running around the city, and there was a confrontation. So we know very well, you know very well that this is the mood. For example, someone who was running that, if the police are going to say no, and Raila is going to say yes, what is it? See, we agreed that we don't want a confrontation, and Waziri said there is no problem so long as no one is breaking the law. So who has said is going to break people's shops? Or who is this person that has been hired to break people's shops? Because that is the ground of blocking people entry to CBD. And even if you block protesters, will the other Kenyans go? You know, will the other Kenyans go? You've already created an environment of animosity. And according to me, I think I may be wrong, but Raila Odinga, if I were him, I would just re-strategize. What people want is a situation of violence. People don't want, Raila wants peaceful protest and will be assessed on the number of Kenyans that come out on the street. But some other people are looking at violence so that they can blame it on Raila. That's it. Some other people are looking at violence, that because it's a ploy. If they come out and say don't go, and the population are going to look and say, are we going? And or Raila says we go. What is it? Why don't you just leave them? Tell, if someone applied after, the logic is you tell that amorphous Nairobi business thing, you tell them there is already a license from the Azimio. If the truth here is, I don't know how you want to convince the public that it is because of two factions. You know, what is that other faction? They've never been seen anywhere. You know, there is that imaginary amorphous Nairobi business something that is normally created just to counter. It's an orthodox strategy. People say that Raila is using orthodox traditional means, you know. Then are those people who then try to be modern are also using the orthodox means? So it's interesting. If you ask me, I think Raila should just shield the population and say, let's not go. They're saying it's wrong for these days, postpone it even to Wednesday. Then the police gives another reason. We see. Because the strategy of blocking it is not to tell people not to go. But then it can go. What has failed? I think if Raila is to pull a tactical card, is to call off Monday. Say, okay, fine. Police are saying we don't go to town because we're really late. Fine. Let's even apply Monday and say we're going to do it on Friday. Let's see. Whether, if after applying Monday, another will also come and say, so that it comes out clearly that someone is blocking it. If they really mean well for it.